everybody, it's crap, I forgot my name. What is wrong with me? Hey everybody, it's Abby, and today I'm going to be telling stories from a play that I did in 2010 and 11 called The Crown, and it was at my old church. So you won't know anything that I'm talking about, and if any of you who are watching were in The Crown, thank you for watching, and I hope it makes you feel all reminiscent and stuff. These stories are just my personal experience. They're not really group stories, so you know, I'll just start. Okay, I'm gonna start with a story from rehearsal, and this rehearsal was probably a dress rehearsal, and we already had our treehouse up, and I remember me and the other two main characters were up in the treehouse. We were practicing a scene and everybody else was just sitting in the audience watching us, and the director had stopped us and they were going over some stuff, and we were wearing our mics and they were still on. So the other two main characters, they started to talk with their mics on, and they were whispering like nobody could hear them. They were like, "Oh, you know, our mics are on," and he was like, "Yeah, they are." And I started laughing so hard, and this was literally the one time that my silent laugh actually came in handy, because nobody could hear me laughing, they could just see me laughing. You know, I'm always just like... Everybody in the audience, everybody who wasn't in the scene, was laughing along with us, because we just thought this was so funny. And our director, you know, was telling us to be quiet because we were making a lot of noise. Anyways, after all that was done and we had to come out of the treehouse, my friend, one of the main characters, his name was Jackson, and he looked at me and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you have mascara all over your face." And I was like, "What?" And so I wiped it. I thought I wiped it all off, and then we were going down and I kept asking him. I was like, "Hey, is there any more mascara on my face?" And he wouldn't answer me. So I was so worried that I had more mascara on my face, and I probably got it all off. It was probably okay. Sorry, the lighting's different and the angle may not be the same, but the camera decided to stop recording and cut out a whole story that I wanted to tell, so here I am again. Speaking of rehearsals, once a week, one of the two rehearsals that we went to, I would always bring my two directors popcorn and smoothies. I was an expert at popcorn, and they loved it. And of course, one of the reasons why I gave it to them was because I wanted to be the favorite, but another one was because I genuinely loved seeing them get so excited that I brought them popcorn and smoothies. And now that I think about it, yeah, if somebody was giving me popcorn and smoothies, I would love it if they did it all the time. That is great. So there was this one Saturday morning rehearsal where my family had to get up pretty early because they had some crazy makeup they had to do, but I didn't have crazy makeup, so I got to sleep in probably another hour. But I woke up around the same time sick, and it was awful. I was throwing up, and I was like, I'm not going to rehearsal today. But my dad woke me up and he was like, "You're going to rehearsal." And I was like, okay. So we went to rehearsal and it was pretty bad. I still felt really sick, but I wanted them to let me do stuff. Oh, I just remembered this. I was going up for a scene to rehearse, and they were doing some work on our set, and there was an orange bucket, and my dad, he pointed at it and he was like, "If you need to throw up, go throw up in that bucket." I was like, oh. Anyway, the scene started and the music was playing and our mics were turned off, so we normally just talk to each other. And the one time that I'm sick, wanting to throw up my intestines, my friend Kaden starts talking about food, and I was just like, "Can you please stop? I want to throw up." Oh yeah. And then I had to go home because I was really way too sick to be rehearsing. And later that night, when everybody else came home, they let me know that I got a Twinkie Award for coming to rehearsal sick. Twinkie Awards were when you did something super cool during rehearsal. Another thing I remember is that our director, she wrote the script for the play. And so obviously things had to be changed all the time. Like, she was trying to perfect the script, which was great. And I remember me and my friends, we would get so overwhelmed with all the changes. I remember before, I think, one of our first performances, Jackson came to me and he was like, "Abby, the director changed something in the show." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is it?" And then it was something so simple, like, "We're gonna walk this way instead of this way." And I was like, that's okay, that's not a big deal. Okay, so the first year of Crown, we had this glass house that was supposed to be our house. The main characters were supposed to be siblings. And in the show, we would walk from the glass house to go to our treehouse. And the glass house was so cool. Like, we hung out in the glass house before, like, every performance. We would, like, eat in there and, like, play cards, and we'd have, like, staring contests and stuff. It was, like, the coolest thing ever. And kids, like, before the performances, we'd just be sitting in there, so they'd, like, come over and say hi to us. I don't think I ever told this to anybody. This was the second year, and the treehouse didn't have a pole, it had a slide. And we had one scene in the show that involved Easy Cheese and spraying it everywhere. And this one time, I remember this scene was about to start, and the other two main characters, they were trying to tell me something, but I didn't know what it was. Like, I just didn't understand. And so after they went down the slide, I went down the slide. And this sounds like it's making no sense. I'm so sorry. Okay, they went down the slide and they were trying to tell me something beforehand, but I didn't listen because I didn't understand. And so I went down the slide just like I normally do. And I got up and the music was playing, so we were allowed to talk. And one of them told me that there was Easy Cheese at the bottom of the slide. So the rest of that scene, I was trying to check my butt. I was trying to check if I had any cheese on my butt. That was the end of that. Okay, I told this story in one of Ashley's videos, but I'll go ahead and do it in this video as well because I'm also gonna say something else. Okay, anyway, there was this one performance, also the second year of Crown, and if any of you know me, you know that I will pretty much do lots of stuff to make people laugh. Like, I will intentionally do things in order to make people laugh, even if I look stupid. So this one performance, I was coming up the ladder to the treehouse, and I make this, like, this grunting noise as I, like, pull myself up the ladder. I'm like, like, almost like I'm throwing up. And I thought that it would make people laugh. I thought it would be so funny. And nobody did anything. I think I was supposed to say a line, and so they were just waiting for me to say my line. Like, nobody laughed, and I was so disappointed. And then my dad, he filmed the whole show, and he was also in charge of editing it. And he chose that scene out of, like, maybe 2 or 3, I think maybe just 2 performances, and he chose that one over the other one. And I specifically told him to mute that part because I knew we were watching it at the cast party and I didn't want everybody to laugh at me, because I didn't want them to laugh at me later, because now it was really embarrassing. Like, in the moment, if people would have laughed when it was live, then that would have been okay. But I didn't want them to laugh at me after I had been really embarrassed about it. Okay. So backtrack back to first year of Crown. This was the first cast party that we had, and they were giving out Twinkie Awards, and my part in the show, I was the middle child, and so the other kid, he was younger than me in the show, and I was supposed to be, like, pretty obnoxious and mean. And so I got a Twinkie Award for being the worst big sister. Anyway, when I went up onto the stage to get it, as I just mentioned, I will pretty much do anything to make people laugh. So after I had grabbed the Twinkie Award, I purposefully made myself trip on the ground to see if anybody would laugh at. I think a few people did. I don't remember now. I don't understand myself. Okay, that's all for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really love telling these stories. If you were in Crown and you're watching this, please comment and tell me one of your favorite stories because I love talking about The Crown. Okay, that's all, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!